Manchester United are set for a busy end to the summer transfer window. Manager Michael Carrick remains focused on strengthening his squad ahead of deadline day on September 1st. United have submitted a bid worth up to £65 million for Brighton star Carlos Baleba as part of the club's midfield overhaul. He would become the third midfielder to head to Old Trafford this summer after the completion of moves for Andre Onana and Youri Tielemans. The 22-year-old midfielder would become the team's most expensive signing of the window so far. Carrick's side are set to recoup some of their transfer outlay through a sell-on clause, which is expected to be activated this summer. United tried to sign Baleba during last summer's transfer window too, when his club valued the midfielder around £100 million, but they have since reduced their asking price after a below-par season for the Seagulls. Carrick addressed the media at Carrington on Thursday afternoon and was pressed on United's negotiations over Baleba, as well as whether a left-back addition was feasible ahead of the deadline. "I just think we're looking to strengthen the squad," he said. "We're certainly working towards that, making the most of the situation that we have and trying to improve things and trying to move forward. You know, I said the same thing to you last time. So yeah, certainly trying to make the most of the opportunities to finish the window stronger than we went into it, and I think we're in a good way to doing that so far." Baleba has recently sustained an ankle problem. The injury is not considered severe, but he is expected to be sidelined for several more weeks, meaning he will not be immediately available for selection by United. Before we move to the next story, if you are following every twist of this United window, this is exactly the channel for it. Subscribe to Final Whiz, drop a like on this video, and tell us in the comments who you think United should sign next: Baleba, a left-back, or someone else entirely. Every comment helps this channel grow, and every subscriber makes sure you never miss a United update again. United are also set to receive an unexpected gift in the transfer window, with former defender Willy Kamwala all set to leave Villarreal. The 21-year-old made 10 appearances for United before joining the Spanish club in 2024. The Manchester Evening News reports that United included a sizable sell-on fee when dealing with Villarreal 2 years ago. Italian club Como are claimed to be leading the race for Kamwala's signature, while La Liga club Osasuna have also shown interest. The situation means United will receive a small sum when Kamwala leaves Villarreal, as he is not expected to command a significant fee, which reduces the amount heading back to Old Trafford. The defender has made 23 total appearances since leaving United, with injury limiting his minutes last season. United have recently included the same clause when selling academy stars this summer. Tyler Fredrickson's move to Lazio also included a high percentage sell-on fee, with a similar clause inserted in Radek Vitic's switch to Middlesbrough. Elsewhere, United are reportedly set to lose academy prospects James Nolan and Habib Ogunye to Arsenal. Winger Nolan, 19, spent part of last season on loan at Swindon Town, while defender Ogunye, 20, was on loan at Newport County until returning in January. The Evening Standard reports that Nolan is a serious target for the Gunners, who have focused on snapping up several young prospects this summer. Further talks with United are planned over the Gibraltar International, with personal terms not expected to cause any issues. Arsenal are closing in on a free transfer for Ogunye, who was reportedly set to undergo his medical on Thursday, with United retaining a 40% sell-on clause. The defender is set to join the Gunners' under-21 side and will also be given chances to train with the first team. Manchester United could spring another surprise after the Baleba move. United would like to sign a midfielder and a left-back, and they have made progress towards strengthening one of those positions. It was inevitable that United would be active in the final 2 weeks of the summer transfer window. United have signed Carl Darlow, Andre Onana, and Youri Tielemans so far this summer, but the club knew they had to keep pushing in the market. Michael Carrick called for United to make more signings during a chat with journalists earlier this month, and a bid of around £60 million plus £5 million in add-ons has now been submitted to sign Carlos Baleba from Brighton. There is still work to do to finalise a deal for Baleba, but the player has been keen to join the club since initial inquiries were made last summer, and an agreement with Brighton is expected. United will turn their attention to signing a left-back once a transfer for Baleba is completed. Newcastle do not want to sell Lewis Hall. Hall is viewed as a dream target at United, but Newcastle have already endured a disastrous transfer window, so allowing the 21-year-old to leave would make little sense from their point of view. United have looked at alternatives to Hall this summer. There is interest in Arsenal's Myles Lewis-Skelly, while racing defender Jorge Sáenz is an interesting name that has cropped up. Sáenz made 34 appearances in an impressive campaign for Racing last term, and he caught the eye of British scouts when he starred at the Under-19 European Championship played in Wales earlier this summer. Sáenz is said to have a £13.7 million release clause at Racing. He would be available for a fraction of what Hall would cost, and would be a clear deputy to Luke Shaw, who has shown no signs of decline. There is definitely a chance United will sign a left-back that nobody expected. The Reds' interest in Darlow and Onana was known before those transfers developed, but the Tielemans move came out of the blue. Tielemans had a £35 million release clause at Aston Villa, an opportunity United were informed of, and club chiefs were delighted they closed the deal before any news of the transfer emerged. If United was serious about Sáenz, the deal would likely have been done already, given his low release clause. Having said that, a move for Lewis-Skelly makes sense and feels possible before September 1st. United have tracked the 19-year-old for a while, and he would be a shrewd addition to the squad, under the condition that he would join primarily to play as a left-back. That is where he played for Arsenal before a switch at the end of last season, which saw him start in defensive midfield against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League final. Lewis-Skelly also started in midfield against Manchester City in the Community Shield last weekend. Shaw started every Premier League game last season, becoming just the 5th player to have achieved that feat for United, but history shows he cannot play 2 matches per week without support. The Manchester Evening News reported in May that United's priorities for the window were to overhaul the midfield, strengthen the left wing, and sign a left back, and they are now close to rounding off that list. Baleba would become the 3rd midfield signing, and Marcus Rashford is increasingly likely to stay beyond deadline day, which would strengthen the left wing, meaning a left-back signing would be the final piece of the puzzle. Marcus Rashford has reportedly turned down a move to Turkey this summer, with a clear stance on his Manchester United future. According to reports from Haberskiri Kamizi, Rashford informed Galatasaray he does not want to move to the Turkish Super League this summer, following conversations with İlkay Gundogan's uncle Ilhan.